here we are, Caitlin Clark, the only WNBA player ever to be on a global 2K cover. Yeah, we've had the Angel Reeses of the past and the Asia Wilsons and Sabrina and Diana Turner. That was the WNBA edition. That was the edition that nobody wanted. But Caitlin Clark's on the deluxe edition. That means if you want the deluxe edition and all of the perks that come with it, you're getting a game with Caitlin Clark on the cover.
Clark is your NBA 2K27 deluxe edition cover athlete. I can tell you right now, people will be buying this just to set it up somewhere. Not even play it, but just put it on display. Probably me to put it right back here. I'll put this up in the backdrop. That's freaking.
The internet practically fractured on July 22nd when 2K Sports finally unveiled their cover athletes for NBA 2K27. While rising superstar Victor Wembanyama secured the standard edition and former MVP Derrick Rose landed the limited Ultra edition, it was the deluxe edition that truly broke the news cycle. The spotlight didn't shine on established champions like Aja Wilson, rising rivals like Angel Reese, or even brand-savvy sharpshooters like Sabrina Ionescu. Instead, Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark claimed the space, making history as the very first WNBA athlete to secure a standalone, global premium cover. Standing prominently alongside a current generational phenomenon and a past league MVP, Clark's placement signaled that she had unquestionably arrived at the pinnacle of basketball media.
On the latest edition of NBA 2K, and we're talking about 2K27. And I know there's going to be a lot of hating going on today. But guess what? We don't care because we the biggest. We the biggest to ever step foot into women's basketball. And that's just a fact. And I know a lot of y'all going to be mad. I already know what some of y'all going to say. And I just told you, we had to be delayed. And you know how that goes because, once again, we got to give some.
To fully grasp the magnitude of this, you have to understand that NBA 2K covers are far from minor promotional gigs. Historically, this prime digital real estate has been reserved for absolute legends like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant. It is arguably the most coveted billboard in all of sports gaming, immediately dominating retail displays and digital storefronts worldwide upon release. Seeing a female athlete headline that premium edition entirely by herself rather than being relegated to a secondary game mode or a niche WNBA spin-off is a monumental shift. Gaming covers have long served as a cultural barometer for who actually commands the basketball zeitgeist, which is precisely why this particular selection carries such immense weight today.
God, Caitlin Clark is on the cover of NBA 2K27, ladies and gentlemen. And all the haters like, there's other players that could have been there. Asia Wilson should have been there. Shut the fuck up. They had their chance to put Asia or somebody else last season, and they wasted it on the bricklaying slob. Shut the fuck up. Clark, right where she belongs, the face of the league, the most electrifying. Now NBA 2K, y'all about to sell record copies because the bricklayer wasn't about to bring y'all what y'all needed in the attention, but now you got the most electrifying, the biggest star ever in women's basketball on the cover of NBA 2K.
Unsurprisingly, a quick scroll through women's basketball circles on TikTok or Twitter this week reveals a deeply polarized community. Countless media outlets and devoted fans have championed the decision as a perfectly timed, well-deserved nod to the massive spotlight she has directed toward the league. Yet beneath the public congratulations, a much more contentious dialogue is echoing through private chats and locker rooms, echoing a debate that has raged for the past 2 seasons. The recurring whisper asks why a player with only 3 years of professional experience continues to monopolize the ultimate spotlight, while seasoned veterans clutching championship rings and MVP hardware are left fighting for scraps of recognition.
You're just going to have to call me a hater at this point. Caitlin is going to be on the new 2K27 video game. And I think at this point, the powers that be, the people who invested in Caitlin being the best, they want their goddamn money. They said, I don't care if she don't play defense. I don't care if she's the floppingest flopper of the century. I don't care. Run me my money. It's almost like the WNBA went on Shark Tank and all of the investors were like, long as it's Caitlin, we'll give you this money. And then they realize, ooh, doesn't look like it's going to be Caitlyn. Make it her. You're going to have to make it her.
Looking strictly at the resume of a titan like Aja Wilson, that frustration is completely logical. With a commanding presence that has yielded multiple MVP awards and a pair of titles for the Las Vegas Aces, she has confidently asserted her status as the face of the league during numerous press conferences. In a purely athletic meritocracy, she has the undisputed hardware to back up that claim. Consequently, watching the most prestigious video game cover in the sport be awarded to a player lacking a championship ring is bound to cause friction. Wilson has dedicated years to producing historic statistics, driving her squad to consecutive championships, and fulfilling all the exhausting media obligations required of a two-time Finals MVP. From her vantage point, that exact legacy is what traditionally earns the ultimate gaming accolade.
Caitlyn Clark's NBA 2K27 cover represents a much bigger milestone than it might initially seem. On Wednesday, it was announced that Clark is on the cover of the NBA 2K27's Deluxe Edition. First glance, this might just seem like another WNBA player landing on the cover of an NBA 2K game, which is something that Candace Parker, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Angel Reese, Sabrina Ionescu, and Aja Wilson have all done in the past. But Clark's cover this year is actually different. All those previous players appeared on the game's WNBA Edition cover, which is a separate version of NBA 2K entirely and focuses specifically on the WNBA. But Clark is on the Deluxe Edition, which is one of the three main flagship copies of the game that's sold globally alongside the Standard and the Ultra Edition. In other words, this is the first time a WNBA player has been one of the three main flagship NBA 2K covers, and that's a significant distinction. It shows that NBA 2K isn't just marketing Clark to WNBA fans, it shows that they're making her a face of the entire 2K franchise, both NBA and WNBA. That's what makes this such a big win, not just for Caitlyn Clark, but for the visibility of women's basketball as a whole.
However, acknowledging the uncomfortable truth of the sports industry is essential here. Being the most talented athlete on the hardwood and serving as the primary commercial engine of a league are two entirely distinct roles. A reality any marketing executive will confirm without hesitation. Video game publishers do not award their premium covers based on a player's accumulated hardware or on-court accolades. Their primary objective is moving product, which means selecting a figure capable of compelling a teenager in the Philippines or a grandmother in the Midwest to invest in a title they might otherwise ignore. At this precise moment, there is only one women's basketball player driving that level of global commercial engagement, and the gap between her and the rest of the field is immense.
New York Liberty versus Indiana Fever game on CBS is now the second most watched WNBA game since 2000. Since 2000, averaging 2.579 million viewers, peaking at 3 million viewers. 3 million viewers for Caitlyn Clark. Who else in this league getting 3 million viewers? Is it Aja Wilson? No. Is it Olivia Miles? I love her game. No. Is it Paige Beckers getting 3 million viewers? No. Only the GOAT Caitlyn Clark can do this.
The raw broadcasting data from this year eliminates any need for subjective debate. When Clark faced off against the Las Vegas Aces on July 12th, the broadcast captivated an average of 2.64 million viewers on NBC and Peacock, ultimately peaking at an astonishing 2.8 million. That solitary game instantly became the most watched regular season WNBA matchup of 2026 and claimed the title of the highest-rated Sunday broadcast since 1998, an era before much of today's audience was even born. Crucially, this wasn't an intense playoff battle or a heavily marketed primetime rivalry. It was a standard Sunday matinee that morphed into blockbuster television solely due to her presence. Contrasting this reality with the landscape just half a decade ago, when WNBA talent was barely a footnote in gaming promotions, highlights a staggering evolution in visibility, even if the resulting spotlight isn't shared equally.
USA Sports coverage of Valkyrie's Fever last Wednesday, July 15th, is its most watched WNBA game on record, averaging 1.14 million viewers, up 172% versus last season's average WNBA cable viewership. Caitlyn Clark up 172%. And y'all want to keep running around pretending like this person's the face, that person's the face. How ironic is it? Like the highest 4 or 5 viewed games all season is all involving Caitlyn Clark.
Furthermore, that viewership spike was absolutely not an isolated fluke. Following a brief 2-week hiatus, Clark's return to the hardwood shattered an entirely different broadcasting milestone, drawing 1.04 million viewers across CNBC and the USA Network. That staggering figure cemented it as the most watched late-night regular season game in the entire history of the WNBA, surpassing anything from previous decades. These are the undeniable metrics that a corporate marketing division at 2K Sports prioritizes when determining who can effectively sell an entertainment product. Brands and advertisers simply do not care about championship banners. Their currency is human attention. In that regard, Clark is capturing audiences at a velocity the league's previous superstars could never have imagined during their absolute peaks.
Caitlin Clark just had 45 points, 10 assists, and 4 steals. The first WNBA player in history to have a 40-point 10-assist game. The game was so good that she also got into some NBA lore. This is every NBA and WNBA player to have a 45-point, 10 assists, and 85 true shooting game. Dame did it 3 times. That's insane. Jokic, Trae Young, Harden, Steph, and now Caitlin Clark.
Crucially, she is actively validating this unprecedented hype with historic on-court production, preventing her from becoming a marketing gimmick that quickly loses its luster. This season, Clark detonated for a franchise record 45 points alongside 10 assists, engineering the first-ever 40-point 10-assist performance in WNBA history. Not a single current player, including dominant forces like Wilson or Reese, has ever achieved that specific statistical milestone in a solitary game. That undeniable box score is permanently etched into the archives, immune to whatever criticisms detractors might harbor about her relentless media push. When skeptics demand justification for her selection over Wilson, that historic performance provides a massive piece of the puzzle, even before factoring in the astronomical television ratings, unprecedented merchandise sales, or the reality that road games now trigger hundreds of dollars in ticket markups the moment her team is scheduled to visit.
Pretty much speaks for itself. She is the most recognizable face in the WNBA. And before people start saying this and that and the third, look, man, we can talk all the shit we want to, but the proof is in the pudding. If you look at all of the most televised and most watched games this year in the W right about now, and the ratings are going up and up and up and up, all of them involve Caitlin Clark. She is the common denominator in each and every last one of these games. Now, granted, each of those teams that we list right about now, the Atlanta Dream, the Dallas Wings, the Las Vegas Aces, New York Liberty, they all have superstars in their own right, and they're able to get ratings in their own right. But as far as peak raters, guess what? They all involve Caitlin Clark at this point. So let's just give credit what credit is due. We didn't have no damn problem when Angel Reese was the cover athlete last year. Let's not get our panties in a bunch this year, now that it's somebody else's turn. But I have zero problem with these, man. I think the NBA 2K crew got it.
The underlying source of the locker room tension seems to stem from a phenomenon completely detached from typical basketball rivalries: her unparalleled cultural reach. Unlike her peers, whose fame largely exists within the WNBA ecosystem, Clark's name rings out across NBA locker rooms, commanding genuine reverence from male athletes who rarely follow the women's game. Stephen Curry explicitly lauded her exceptional court vision and deep shooting range, drawing direct parallels between her offensive gravity and his own. That magnitude of praise is rarely distributed by NBA icons. Similar sentiments have been echoed throughout the year, praising her fundamentally elite skills that seamlessly transcend gender boundaries. This dynamic mirrors the quiet resentment Tiger Woods faced in golf or Tom Brady endured in football. Whenever one individual's cultural gravitational pull completely eclipses their peers, it invariably breeds friction among fierce competitors who feel their own brilliance is being unjustly overshadowed.
According to Tom Friend of the Sports Business Journal, Kathy Engelberg reportedly thought a suspension was too steep because a foul wasn't called live. But reportedly, Adam Silver saw clear evidence of a flagrant foul and urged Kathy Engelberg to act immediately. Now, the WNBA denies this account, but here's the part where the history matters in all of this. During Game 4 of the 2016 Finals, Draymond and LeBron James got tangled up on the floor. No flagrant foul was called live, but Adam Silver and the NBA reviewed it afterwards, assessing Draymond Green a flagrant foul 1, his 4th point, suspending him for Game 5 of the Finals. Now look at Alyssa Thomas. No call was called live. No flagrant foul was called live. But then after the game, elevated to a flagrant foul penalty to a suspension as well as a $1,000 fine. Different league, different player, but striking similar process. But here's where things get even more interesting. According to this report, those closest to Kathy Engelberg believed that she was in an unenviable situation where she didn't want to show favoritism to Caitlin Clark and also didn't want to overlook the fact that players felt overshadowed by Caitlin Clark, which is where reportedly her hesitation came from. But Adam Silver reportedly also felt bad for Kate.
And then there's Adam Silver.
The most striking testament to her unique status occurred when NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who has no formal jurisdiction over WNBA operations, repeatedly intervened to defend her this season. Multiple reports indicated Silver heavily influenced WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's decision to suspend Alyssa Thomas following a physical altercation with Clark. Rather than offering a standard diplomatic non-answer, Silver publicly addressed the controversy, declaring that the guard had become an unfair political target and condemning her treatment. The undisputed head of men's professional basketball stepping out of his lane to shield a single female athlete is unprecedented. He isn't offering that same diplomatic umbrella to Aja Wilson or Angel Reese. Silver recognizes her immense commercial value to the broader global basketball ecosystem, leading him to advocate for her regardless of Engelbert's stance, highlighting the massive rift between those who possess basketball supremacy and those who actually command global cultural influence.
Whose tan and muscles did they put on that lady? Whose tan and muscles did they put on that lady? Her natural physique and skin tone would have worked just fine.
Naturally, a faction of the internet has aggressively rebelled against the cover announcement, with some critics baselessly suggesting that Clark's image was heavily doctored or artificially generated in comparison to the artwork for Wembanyama and Rose. While 2K Games has opted to ignore these speculative accusations, the total lack of concrete evidence hasn't stopped detractors from obsessively zooming in on promotional graphics to manufacture outrage. The mere fact that observers are desperately scrutinizing digital pixels to invalidate a corporate marketing decision illustrates exactly how deeply this move has agitated certain demographics within hours of the reveal. When a standard video game press release instantly devolves into a feverish forensic conspiracy, it is a glaring indicator that the public is reacting to the cultural shift the cover represents, rather than the artwork itself.
I know damn well 2K ain't used ChatGPT to make these covers. They use ChatGPT to make these damn covers. All that money y'all got, y'all couldn't get a graphic designer, y'all couldn't do a photo shoot, y'all couldn't look at these goddamn covers. Look at them. You mean to tell y'all can't allocate no money to put some more work into making these covers look good? Y'all had to go do some AI bullshit? Some AI bull. Look at their faces. That don't even look like it. Look like a person that's supposed to be Caitlin Clark, but that does not look like Caitlin Clark.
Strangely absent from the center of this hurricane is Sabrina Ionescu, who has spent years establishing herself as a premier perimeter threat and cultivating a legitimate international fan base through iconic three-point contest appearances. Her complete omission from the broader debate is perhaps the most glaring oversight of the entire saga. Despite meticulously building a formidable global brand of her own, Ionescu is entirely sidelined in discussions regarding who was most deserving of the digital spotlight. The narrative has completely calcified into a binary clash between Wilson and Clark, leaving every other viable candidate muted in the background. While fierce competitor Angel Reese has yet to formally address the cover controversy, her consistent demands for respect throughout the season have left the basketball world eagerly anticipating her inevitable commentary on the situation.
Is the WNBA's player of the week, and people are already upset talking about this person got robbed, that person got robbed, that person got robbed. Let me let y'all know in a little secret, right? If y'all saying somebody got robbed, which 90% of their stats, 95% of their stats, 99% of their stats is just scoring the ball, but then somebody else's stats, like Caitlin, hers is scoring the ball, assisting the ball, and even having rebounds. It's a big difference. Listen, that MVP, like I've been telling y'all before we played one dribble of basketball, that MVP is coming, whether you want.
Beneath the surface of this debate lies a massive generational divide that is rarely acknowledged. The established veterans who entered the league before the current digital streaming explosion were forced to construct their legacies the traditional way, relying on incremental statistical dominance and lengthy championship campaigns to slowly amass a dedicated following. Clark bypassed that agonizing crawl completely, leveraging the colossal platform of the collegiate March Madness tournaments to emerge as a household name long before her professional debut. That tremendous head start is exactly why the sudden disparity in cultural reach feels so jarring and inherently unfair to her seasoned colleagues. Aja Wilson undeniably remains the premier two-way force in the sport, a verified champion who can rightfully claim to be the greatest pure talent on the hardwood. However, the title of best player and global face have aggressively diverged, placing Wilson in the deeply frustrating position of conquering everything the sport has to offer, only to watch someone else become the universal symbol of the game.